Hey you guys, I am bringing Shalini Nestor on today. I've just tagged her in this, so hopefully she'll join us soon. And we're going to be talking a little bit about building your digital product. So I've got somebody on now. I'm hoping that is Shalini. I'm just trying to see how we can, there we go. Onto camera. I think I've just invited Shalini. Hey, hey!
Hello!
Woohoo! I'm just gonna sit back because all of a sudden it makes my head go like way bigger.
Yeah.
How are you going?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for inviting me into the group today to have this chat.
That's okay. So, just for those of you who don't know Shalini, I just do a little intro for you. So, Shalini used to run a cookie business. You would have seen probably in the promotions that I've popped up really cute little like cookies that she's popped together before. And she kind of got to this space of like, you know, feeling a little bit burnt out. You know, hubby would be like, hey, you're going to come hang out with us. And, you know, she'd be so busy in the business that she once loved and created and, you know, had gotten so excited about had become this, you know, almost heavyweight. And I think that's really, really relatable to a lot of us in business. You know, I certainly have had times where I felt like I've been, you know, really like attached to my business and, you know, I've had to be in it, you know. And so what Shalini had done is she'd realized that this is a problem for her. She needed to find some other solution to that. And so she's created a digital product, which, you know, showed other people about, you know, how she makes her cookies and this and that and the other. And that product is still selling today. You know, we were talking the other day on a call and Shalini's like, oh, by the way, you know, as we've been talking, you know, I've just had a sale come through. And I just thought that's like a really cool thing to have a chat about for some of us as business owners here. So Shalini, welcome. I think that I got most of that story right. Tell me if there was any gaps or parts that I missed or anything like that, but I think that was the most part of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I actually started it as a membership model, just to have a go to see how that went. And I created a new class every month, so I had the recurring income, and that was really cool. But because of COVID, I had to shut it down because my kids were at home. So I had to pivot. I had to go, oh, okay, I can't keep the content going every month now. So I'm just going to turn it into standalone classes for people to buy at any time, and that's where I keep getting the sales from, because they're still like on demand, and people really liked it that way. So I could still make money from the things that I'd already created, which was pretty cool. Awesome. And there was a bit of a learning in there as well for me.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about like, well, I guess, you know, to lead people through your journey, I've given a brief explanation, but like, you know, tell us a little bit about what life was like before you had decided to start creating this digital product and that sort of thing. And then if you can just like kind of lead into where the idea came from, how you transitioned that, some of the learnings maybe you had along the way.
Yeah, definitely. So I remember at the time, you know, I really loved what I was doing, and it was, I just couldn't believe that I had like orders coming in all of the time. So that was really like I'd established myself. I was, you know, I had leads coming in all through organic marketing, just sharing my work with me, getting referrals, things like that. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. It's actually working. Now, you know, I'm on my way to being able to resign from the public service. That was my big major goal. That was all I could think about, was I just want to be able to work for myself. This feels amazing. And I was like okay with working all hours, even though my kids were in bed. I was working till 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and I was justifying it in my head, going, no, this is amazing. At least I'm not in a job that I hate. I'm able to work and listen to business podcasts at the same time. Like, I'm growing my mindset at the same time. This is amazing. But there was deep down this feeling of, how long can I really keep this up for? If I'm really honest with myself, how long can I keep going? You know, I was doing the numbers in my head going, I'd need to make 300 cookies a week to keep up this momentum. But what if I wanted to have a break, or you know, what if I wanted to have just a Friday off for myself? How's that going to work? Like, would I have to, you know, make more some weeks? And you know, I felt like this feeling of dread, like, oh, I've really got to face this, but I kind of don't want to. So I kind of just pushed it aside and went, no, I'm living my dream. It's great. But when it starts to affect your family and your relationships, so that's when I really hit that point of I needed to face reality, because my poor husband, like, he, you know, he works his job 9 to 5 really hard for us, and he just wanted to relax on the weekends and have some family time or some time for himself. But because I'm like, oh, I have orders to fill, I have people coming to pick them up, so can you just watch the kids? And our whole weekends would be just sucked away with that. Our house would be overtaken by like mess, because I had to keep my kitchen really tidy, and so always be cleaning it, but then there'd be boxes everywhere. So I just had to just realize that I couldn't go on like this, but I really didn't want to go back to my day job.
And can I just touch on something there before you move on? I actually think that's a really interesting point that you bring up, because for a lot of us, when we start a business and we start to get clients in the door consistently, or, you know, in your instance, you start to make sales consistently, it's like, oh, I'm doing something that I never, like, once upon a time, I didn't think would ever be possible for me. But now, you know, it's a reality of mine. And so we almost get sometimes too afraid to switch things up a little bit, because it's like, oh, well, this was once upon a time my dream. I feel ungrateful if I'm, you know, switching things up and not wanting to be part of my business as much anymore.
Exactly, that's right. It did. There was some guilt there, because everyone around me in other women's like business groups and things like that, everybody was in the same boat, hustling really hard. And, you know, we did connect over that, you know, just being so busy all the time and trying to juggle everything. But there was a part of me that was like, does it really have to be that hard though? Like, I kind of wanted to have a business so I could have more options and more flexibility. So where is that part?
Yeah.
There's none of that. So because I was listening to a lot of business podcasts, that's when I started hearing terms like recurring income, passive income, digital products, courses, that sort of thing. And I was like, oh, what's that all about? You know, and it started getting my like the ideas flowing, and I just thought, well, people are asking me all the time how I do things, because even though in my social media I was trying to attract like local customers, I'd get people in the same industry following me, and then asking me lots of questions like, how did you do that technique? And I really want to learn that. And so I just put the 2 and 2 together and went, well, why not? Let's have a go at, you know, trying it out and seeing if this is what people really want. And so I started testing it, like asking in my Instagram stories and Facebook groups and things like that, is this what you guys struggle with? Is that actually what you want, you know? And is this something that you need? And people were like, yes, please create it. Like, they were like begging me to create this.
And
so
also,
I had to
good point there as well. Just for those, like, as you're talking, I'm trying to like break it down a little bit for those who are catching up and watching, you know, later on. I think we've got Stephanie on. Hey, Steph. But Shalini makes a really good point there around market research, guys. Like, it's one thing to kind of go, oh yeah, I think everyone needs this, but it's another thing to actually go and check in and be like, do you need this, before you go and spend all that time and energy and effort, you know, time and energy being the 2 things that you can never get back once you've used them, you know, and check in with your people, make sure that they actually do want that.
That's right. And, you know, it was simple things like having a wait list. So an email list specifically as a wait list, and making it known. So I said, you know, to people, this is the idea that I have. If you're interested in when I launch, you know, please join this email list. And so I had, you know, 50 people on this list, and that's a pretty big indicator that it's something that people want.
Yeah.
But it was before I created it.
Yeah.
So I had some validation that it was something that people wanted.
And if I can just refer that to the coaching world for a minute, I recently had something actually similar when it came to the Crack the Code program that I just launched. So I'm just saying this for some of you guys I know will be coaches. Some of you will have like a physical product like Shalini had. But if you are a coach or a consultant or something like that, the same thing goes. It's no different just because Shalini was, you know, making a physical product. You know, it's the same thing when it comes to services. So I basically put out there, hey guys, this is a problem that I'm noticing. I'm noticing that people are having more trauma from coaching sometimes, and they walk away. They're sitting there with their 10 bits of paper and they don't know how to coach, and so they're freaking out. They don't think they can charge, you know, for their services or anything yet because they don't know, you know, what to do with coaching. So I put those problems out there. I saw what the response was. I got like 105 signups for a free training, which told me that, yes, this must be something that people really need. It's a big gap in the industry, that people are really struggling with this. And I just wanted to kind of bring that up because, you know, it's easy for people to go, oh, okay, cool. Well, you can easily do that with your product, Shalini, because it's a physical product, but I've got a service. Well, no, it works for both.
That's right, exactly. And it all comes down to, you know, actually asking your audience, you know, and talking to people and really understanding what their problems are and their pain points, whether it's a service like coaching, consulting, or you've got a physical business. You know, you are solving a problem at the end of the day, and you know, you know, your solution is helping people on an emotional level too. Whether, you know, teaching people how to make cookies is about, you know, improving their confidence, like boosting their confidence and things like that, and knowing that they could do it. It's the same thing for services as well. You know, you're with your Crack the Code, you're helping coaches improve their confidence in themselves to know that they actually do know what to do, you know, in a session and things like that. So it absolutely all relates. And yeah, and just talking to people.
That's it, like actually care about what they want as opposed to what you think that they want.
Yes, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So you moved into live classes, like after you got that feedback and you got the 50 registrations and everything, you started to move into live classes?
So I did pre-recorded classes, but I did it in a membership format where I had like a private Facebook group where I you know, had lots of people in there, and I did some live component classes in there too, just as a bonus to keep people really engaged and you know, actually practicing the skills and things like that. And it was really great. And I think there was an element of, so I guess I really wanted to touch on a little bit of money mindset here, because going from working extremely hard every week to make all of these cookies to suddenly I had about $2,000 of recurring income coming in for just one class, right? So it was very easy for me to do that. Just record one class, put it out there, and then suddenly $2,000 of recurring income. Going from working extremely physically hard, like all night, to that was kind of confronting. It was just, oh crap.
It gets to be this easy?
Really, yeah. I was like, is this real life? Like, is this okay? I felt a bit like, is this cheating? Like, is this actually okay to make money this easily? And you know, am I allowed to do that? I guess was the feeling.
Which makes a lot of sense, because what you were saying before, like, you know, you had all of these other people around you who are all like hardworking entrepreneurs and that sort of thing, and we tend to unconsciously connect over that sort of thing. Oh yeah, you know, I've got this and this to do, and oh, I'm so busy. You know, it's that hustle culture, it's the busy culture. And I think one of the things that's really shifted, and I guess why you're such a great gift to this world, you know, in what you teach people, is that I think after COVID, a lot of our mindsets changed around that. We didn't want to be part of hustle, busy culture anymore. We've all realized that home, family, groundedness, you know, doing things like cooking in the kitchen, or, you know, having a walk, or doing the simple things in life and getting back to those simplistic things is the thing that's really important for us now. So I think that's the beauty in the work that you're doing at the moment.
And that's exactly why I decided to move into coaching, because I could have kept going with the creative side of things, but I lost my spark for that, because it suddenly became more meaning for me to actually teach that to other people. I was like, hang on a minute, this is amazing. How many women out there are like struggling with like kids at home and trying to run a business, and they're also having the same conversations with their husbands about, the husbands are really supportive, but they're also like, oh, come on, how come I never see you anymore? Like, I just want to sit on the couch and watch a movie tonight, but you're finishing orders. Like, when is this going to end? I've had so many conversations with other business women who are like, yes, I've had that exact conversation with my husband. So for me, it became more about helping other people to experience this shift where you go, oh, it doesn't actually have to be so hard. And I'm going to put my kids in daycare, and I'm going to decide every Friday I'm going to have that off for myself, for some self-care. How many women actually prioritize their self-care and eating properly, and wanting to go and do some exercise, or just relax for a bit and go and take themselves out for lunch. Like, how many women get to actually do that, because we've got so much on our plate? And so that's why I moved into coaching instead of the classes.
So and that is a really beautiful segue actually into what it is that you do. So now you're coaching and you're teaching other people how to do the same thing based off of your experience of burning yourself out, not being there for family, and then creating a successful digital product that has been making money, and now you're teaching other people to do the same thing. So tell us a little bit more about that, like in terms of your coaching. What are the sorts of, when somebody's wanting to create a digital product or a program or something like that, what are some of the problems that they tend to come up against, when they make that decision?
Yeah, so one of the things I noticed is that a lot of people get overwhelmed with the technology side of things. So they just, they tend to get quite frustrated and go, I don't know what to do. Like, I wouldn't even know where to go. So, researching it all on your own can be really time consuming. So, and that's the opposite of what you want to achieve. And so if you want to have someone just to go, here are the websites to use, and here is how you film something, here is how you upload something. So, I would say technology is probably one of my superpowers, because I really love it. And I have made mistakes before, so I know what not to do. So I've invested in like really expensive platforms to host courses, and like I was just wasting so much money because everyone else was
that brings me to another point as well, is like, sometimes we don't, in the beginning, we don't have the cash to spend on really expensive platforms. So is that something like that you teach as well?
Exactly, that's right. So, you'll hear people go, oh, just use Kajabi or something like that. But, it's US dollars, and per month it's about 200 US a month.
That's like what,
and that might be
Aussie or something.
Yeah, that's right. So people might not know that there are other lower cost options. So the one that I like to promote is Member Vault. So that's the one that I use a lot. And, for me, it's very easy to set up and, connect payment gateways and host videos. And so that's something I help other people with, is if they need that support to walk them through how to actually do that and set it up, I can do that. And then, aside from the technology, it's also the marketing of it and the launching of it. And I'm a big fan of organic marketing. So I've never actually used paid ads before. So because I spent so much time establishing the organic marketing, that's why I still have sales coming in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize for my daughter.
No, that's okay. I totally get it. And I agree with that. Like, I think one of the things I always say to clients who I work with is like, don't try and put money behind a paid ad until you've made sure that it works organically first. If it works organically, then it's going to work for paid as well. But, I think people kind of go, oh, ads will be the magical thing that helps me to get people in the door. And it's not always. Sometimes it's like you need to refine your message enough to know that it's actually a problem, which is what we were speaking about earlier, to then be able to market that. And I guess, is that something as well that you help with, you know, helping them to refine their message so that they know how to market it and make this digital product something that people are like, well, shit, yeah, I need that. Like, I can't not have that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's right. So, you know, messaging and positioning and, you know, really, I love to appeal to people's emotions when they buy something, like the transformation that it offers. And it doesn't matter what it is. I think we said that before, whether it's coaching, consulting, or a product, there's always, you know, an emotional reason why people are going to buy something. So if you can tap into that and, you know, and talk to those points, it can make such a big difference. And I think that's what some people really struggle with in their marketing, is they, you know, they position themselves as like the hero, whereas your customer is the hero of the story, and you're actually just the guide. You're like the Yoda to their Luke. And I think some people forget that. And
is that Star Wars? Because I don't watch Star Wars.
Yes. Yes, outing my nerdiness there. That is a Star Wars
reference. If it wasn't
reference.
for Caleb and knowing what Yoda is, that's probably the only reason why I knew it was Star Wars.
Oh, I love that. That's funny. So yeah, so that's, you know, the marketing and is definitely something I touch on as well. And the last really important one is the mindset. So you know, I struggled with those feelings of you know, is it okay to earn money easily? You know, feeling guilty, especially some, you know, some random things can come up, like you know, I felt some guilt because my mother was a single mother and she really struggled while we were growing up. So I felt, you know, is it okay? Am I allowed to make my life easier when she had it so hard? Like, is that okay?
Yeah.
And I struggle with that sort of thing. And
I know that I've actually had one recently that I've had to work through myself. And you know, you can have a successful business and still have mindset stuff come up, guys. So, you know, I'm sharing one of my vulnerable personal ones, and it was, you know, as I move into this phase of like going on maternity leave and stuff, I'm like, I've got all of these awesome programs that I could sell as digital products. But then the thought that came up was, oh, but don't people need me? Like, shouldn't I be part of it? What if I'm not part of it? Maybe they won't get the same transformation, blah, 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 blah. And so I've had to do so much journaling work around that and really kind of get my mindset around that. But I imagine you probably get that, you know, a lot with people where they think that they have to be in it because they've been in it this whole time until this point where they've now decided that something needs to change.
Yeah, that's right. Like it's like a common sort of sabotage where you go, no, I have to give so much of myself to be able for it to have value. And they don't realize that the content and how you deliver it, you know, and people don't really see like evidence of that. Like there is evidence of that all the time. Like I'm sure people have bought courses and things like that where it wasn't actually a live thing. It was something they did self-paced and they got a lot of value out of it, you know, and it's
but it's okay for them, but it's not okay for me for some mindset block reason, right?
That's right. And it's something that, you know, you got to work through, and that's where, you know, having a coach and a mentor to help you work through that can be so incredibly helpful, because then you're not going to be stuck in that procrastination and self-doubt and not actually moving the needle forward. You're actually going to go, oh, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm thinking this. How do I work through it? And that's the beauty of coaching, isn't it?
That's it. So if you were to give like just 3 kind of dot point pieces of advice to people who are wanting to create a digital product, what would they be?
So the first one, I guess, is, you know, start doing the market research and start looking for the problems that people have. So, you know, a great digital product is where you take your skills, your knowledge, your experience in something, and the problems that people have, and you've got the solution there. So, you know, do the research, and you can do research in so many different ways, like going into Facebook groups and searching for keywords and seeing the language that comes up. So when people are saying, you know, help, I'm really struggling, I'm really frustrated, like all of those words, you know, collect all of that and write it down. So you've got,
that's really clever. I've never heard of that before. That's really awesome.
Yeah, so it just becomes like, you know, the things, the real things that people are saying, you can start using in your own messaging, because you're using their language and not language that you're making up. So that's the other thing as well, is that, you know, sometimes you can tend to use a lot of jargon and sort of complicated language,
or like
but if you go
language, like, you know, what you think the industry wants.
Yes, that's right, exactly. But if you do the research, you can get the words directly from the people who are struggling. So that would be my first tip, because then you know that it is actually a good idea. It is something that people want. Tip 2, is what's a good tip?
I just put you on the spot.
That's all right. I'm just trying to think. Hey, Babu.
Is there any tips in terms of like technology?
Technology. Yeah, so I guess a big tip for me would be, you don't have to have this big expensive production to be able to help people in a digital product. So I think sometimes we get stuck in the perfectionism mode, which is stopping us from actually moving forward. And we think, you know, we need to create something with, like, we need to hire like a video crew and hire some place to create videos. And because we've seen maybe someone who is like a multi-7-figure person who does that because they have the means to do that. But when they started, and when they weren't even 6 figures yet, they just started. They started with their phone. They started with their webcam, because that's the quality of that doesn't matter. It's the quality of the content and the quality of the information that you're giving people. I created all of my classes on my phone, and people love them. They get so much value out of them, and it's because I really thought about what it is that they needed and how to communicate really clearly. So, you know, when it comes to the tech, don't, you know,
overcomplicate.
Worry about. Yeah, don't just start, and you can upgrade it later if you want to. If you want to refine it, sure, but to start with, just start.
I find the same thing actually. Like, people will say, "Oh, I need to go have a photo shoot or whatever," and I'm like, I used to take my iPhone when I was living in Bali and just like go to, you know, cute little cafes or whatever, and yeah, I'd look like a bit of a weirdo because I'd sit there, you know, with my selfie stick, you know, thing set up, and I'd be sitting there like posing or whatever, but like, fuck it, who cares, you know? And people loved the photos, and the photos worked. They drew people in to read the content, to, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be this big fancy thing. So I love that as a tip. We might just leave it at the 2 tips. The reason why I say that is because my phone is going to die any second. I just realized that. So quickly before it does die, can you tell people where they can find you? And, you know, like, if you have any programs or anything like that on offer at the moment, you want to quickly, in like a 1-minute caption, to share it.
Yeah, no problems. I'll definitely I'll put it in the comments so people can follow me. I mostly hang out on Instagram. That's my main hub. And at the moment, I have spots available for one-to-one coaching, which is 6 months of working with me to get your digital product up and running, the marketing and creating it and everything like that, launching it. And of course, working through those mindset roadblocks that you might come across. And I'm also creating a program at the moment called the Passive Income Playground. And I'm very excited about that one. I'm just fleshing out the details at the moment. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can hit the link in my bio to subscribe to my email list if you want to get updates on that and find out some more information, but I will add all of this to the comments. So
beautiful. Thank you.
So you don't have to. Thank you so much, Donna.
Thank you for your time. Like, some of the tips and everything that you've shared today have been awesome. And, you know, like, I haven't launched a digital product, you know, I've got programs there or whatever that I've, you know, kind of sold on the side or whatever, but I haven't actually launched a digital product. So I can't actually teach on that, you know, in the same way that you can, you know, that you've done it quite successfully. So, you know, if anyone that I know is looking for something like that, then I'll definitely send them your way, because I think that we need to get over this hustle culture and just be okay with the fact that we can just relax a little bit, you know.
That's right.
Life. That's why we started business.
Well said. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was a really great chat, and thank you so much for everyone watching and watching the replay. Thank you.
No worries at all. All right. Have a wonderful day, and this, guys, will go out in the email list as well. So those of you who are on my email list, you'll get a copy of this interview as well. If you're not on my email list and you want to be on my email list so you can catch up on things like this and not miss any of the lives that I do, then yeah, like I said, just pop in the comments below and I'll make sure that I get my VA to message it to you. All right. Bye for now, guys.
Bye.